What's up, everybody? My name is Justin, and welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Tears. Hope you enjoyed the last hunting video I did on the channel. If you haven't checked that out, go to the channel homepage. There's an entire playlist just for all the hunting videos I have done. And today, I'm going to do one of the bottles that I got in that hunt. Today, we're doing the ECBP B524. All right, so ECBP B524. This particular barrel proof is coming in at 130.6. So getting back up there on the proof after that A124. The A124, I actually thought the juice was fine. It just wasn't really living up to what I think an ECBP should be. So we'll see what this B524 comes in at. It is coming in at 11 years, 2 months, so it's a little bit under that, the old 12-year age statement, but it does have 130.6 proof. So I'm really excited to try this one today. Hopefully it lives up to the ECBP name, the hype. I mean, I don't think it's going to probably be up to like a C923 level, but we're going to try it out in this video. So make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. Let's pop the top and get the nosing straight out of the bottle. I know a lot of people normally get nuttiness out of Heaven Hill and ECBP. I'm not normally overly get that note out of it, but this one I did get a little bit of peanut on the nose there. Peanut and like a sawdust. Peanut and sawdust on the nose. We'll see if that transfers over to the glass or not. Sometimes, especially with these ECBPs with the big like snout type mouth, the nosing out of the bottle is a little bit more tough. So alright, hey, really appreciate all the support on the channel. Recently, we are pushing towards 1,400 subscribers now, and if you really want to help the channel, consider hitting that join button down below. We've got a couple members in there already. You get access to every single video early, and eventually I'm going to have the new double shot series coming out for that as well. So anyways, let's get the nosing here straight out of the glass. Good color on this one, really. It's darker than I think the A124 was. Ooh, okay, that's a little bit different coming out of the glass this time. Definitely a little bit different. This one's got like deeper notes in it. Definitely deeper notes than the A124. I remember the A124 being more like fruity, cherry-ish. This one's definitely got some deeper notes. It's definitely a drier wood. It's not that like sweet wood. It's like a dry wood, almost a sawdust, but not like with the negatives that would come with the sawdust smell. A little hint of cherry in the background, but it's real faint. I think I'm going to go like peanut brittle on this one, like a peanut brittle. So it does have that sweetness to the peanut. It's not like overly peanutty. It's like a peanut brittle. So kind of like a candy-ish on there. Like a buttery note. Like I know butter typically doesn't have a smell, but it smells like it's buttery, if that makes sense. Like I know butter does have a smell. Like if you lathered something in butter and melted it down, it smells like really like thick melted butter. Alright, ECBP B524. Where is it going to rank on the tier system today? Let's find out. Cheers, everybody. Okay, so first impressions are, it's definitely 130 proof. It sticks with you. I can still feel it going down my throat here. It's been several seconds, 20 seconds or so now since I took that first initial sip, so it's definitely got the proof there. You can really feel the proof going down the throat. It's got more dry oak to it. Just like the nose, it's not as much, obviously it's not sawdust now on the taste, but it does still have like that dry oak rather than like the sweet oak. It's kind of like, it doesn't have the bitteriness to it that you would associate possibly with dry oak, but it's like a nice, just dry oak. I don't know, if you just like licked a piece of dry oak, that's probably what you would imagine it might taste like if you didn't split to your tongue. Yeah, it's actually very oaky. It's got sweetness in there. It's got that dry oak, but it's much oakier than I was anticipating it being, especially considering it was coming in a little bit under 12 years. But yeah, it's pretty good. I would say the taste is not quite peanut brittle like the nose was. It's more of like a peanut butter covered cherry. If there was like a dry peanut butter dust over like a cherry, but that cherry wasn't overly strong in flavor, I think that's what I'm getting from this one. So now what's interesting is I've drank it a couple different ways now, and I've picked up on different stronger, like each note seems to be stronger differently on each sip. So some notes that dry oak will be a lot stronger. Some notes that like peanut butter covered cherry will be a lot stronger. It's kind of going back and forth a little bit for me. Yeah, definitely very, very woody on this one. I think maybe one of the more woody ECBPs that I can remember having in quite some time. It doesn't have any of those really dark brown sugar or molassesy notes that I think the C923 was so good at, but it's very oaky. There's something else in there that I haven't quite figured out what that note is yet, and I'm struggling with it because it's like familiar, but it's just not coming to me what it is yet. Yeah, just a ton of oak on this thing. Deep, dry, dense oak, a little bit of sweetness up front, but then it really just lingers. It's almost got like a hint of smokiness to it, which I don't think I've ever said about anything Heaven Hill before, but it almost finishes with like a hint of smokiness, maybe coming off of that dry wood, like if it was just charred a little bit and it had that like lingering smoke to it. So yeah, it's interesting, this B524. I've seen a couple people really like it, a couple people not like it as much, so let's go ahead and give this thing a couple more sips and then rank it on the tier system. Alright, to be fair, I did just pop this bottle right before I filmed this review, so it hasn't had any time to open up or anything like that. It is oaky. It is very oaky. If you don't like oakiness, don't think you're going to like the ECBP B524. It does have great proof to it. You can obviously feel it going down. It wakes you up a little bit. It's got a little of that burn, which I really appreciate. It's got some sweetness jolt up front that then turns into that mostly dense, dry oak. A little bit of smokiness, maybe like a hint of spice on the end, but just very, very little. So, sorry, there's a bug flying around here, probably trying to get some of my bourbon. So, let's see. On the tier list, let's think about this. Do one last sip here. Got one little sip left here, and then I'll go ahead and rank this thing. Last sip, here we go on the tier list. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because some sips, I'm like, I love it. Some sips, I don't love it as much. So I think for me, on the tier system today, I'm officially going to put the ECBP B524 on the B tier. At the B tier. I don't think it's, like, overly crazy in any area except the oakiness. So if you really like that oakiness profile, this thing's got tons of it. But I think it's lacking in other areas. It does have some good proof to it. It's not overly viscous or anything like that, which like the C923 was just tons of viscosity to it. I was actually surprised this one's not as viscous as I was expecting, especially for the proof. So I think it's like B tier. It's not blowing me away, but it's definitely good. I think maybe I'll have to come back to this thing once it's been opened up for a few weeks now and try it out again, see if my mind changes at all. If I do that, that'll be on the channel for members only, so consider joining there. But yeah, it's going on the B tier today. What do you guys think? Have you had this one yet? I just picked this one up. Haven't really heard any notes on it, just heard rumblings back and forth of some yay, some nay. So we'll see. You know, we'll see where it goes in a couple weeks from here. But for today, it's going on the B tier. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you for your next drink.